Hello, hello. Welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karen.
Hola.
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 ¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está?
¿Estás bien?
Muy bien.
Muy bien. ¿Qué hiciste hoy?
Je ne sais pas.
I don't know, Dad. If this is your first time or 154th time coming into the show, welcome. We're glad you're joining us for an episode of A Novel Console. We hope you stick around, have some laughs, and maybe find some new things to enjoy. If you want to reach out to us, you could do it on our socials, which is basically at A Novel Console on every platform, or you can email us directly at anovelconsole@gmail.com. Or if you would like to support us, you could do it at patreon.com/novelconsole like our beautiful patrons do who pay for our hosting, which gets charged tomorrow. And that's why you're getting a special episode this week.
Woo!
On Monday, we're recording after work.
Shoot me!
Tell your part so we can talk.
You should tell your friends about the show because sometimes when you do that, they listen to us and then they're like, why do you listen to these dudes? And then you should leave us a review wherever you can because they help us be more discoverable. And if you would like to join our Discord that we have and have had for a little more than a year now, just go to our Twitter and look for the pinned tweet or send us an email saying you want to join. Sorry, I'm on Monday mode and I'm tired as fuck. But I'm high energy. Let's do this. Yeah.
All right. So I know that we just released on Monday our first Etovania month episode.
Spooky.
We're taking a break this week. Well, not taking a break. We're breaking the month. I think it's Friday. It's probably Friday right now.
When you're going to drop it?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say you're not going to drop it on Monday.
We're
right?
not stopping Etovania month.
This is a bonus.
This is a bonus episode.
Yes, bonus not on Patreon.
Yes.
So all of you people who are not patrons, be grateful. All of you people who are patrons, thank you for continuing to pay for our hosting.
So this is a bonus episode. We have finished this book and game for a while.
Not that long.
We just
It's only been like 2 weeks.
we just didn't have anywhere to slot it into
When we finally
the
finished.
programming. So we're doing it now.
Yay.
So we can do this, and then eventually in November you'll get another backlog of Doom. Maybe this month if we feel like it. I doubt it.
It'll have to be an extra episode.
Yeah. So we'll slot in.
Maybe we could do it early, although that seems kind of pointless, and just put it on Patreon. So episode only on Patreon and voting only on Patreon, and then it can go to the public in November. So all them bitches who are not on Patreon then get to be like, damn,
The problem is
didn't get early access.
that for some reason the algorithm and people really love the backlog episodes.
The backlog.
The backlog episodes.
I wonder why.
They love those episodes. Like we have like the backlog of Doom Part 1
Audience participation.
still getting listens like crazy. So
Speaking of audience participation in Horror Month, have you ever seen Rocky Horror?
no.
We should watch Rocky Horror. We should see if anyone is like showing Rocky Horror like with the whole audience participation bit going on.
That doesn't interest me at all.
It interests me a lot.
What I was saying, no, I like where you're going, and I like your idea, but it wouldn't be great for analytics. It would be actually very bad.
I thought you were talking about Rocky Horror.
No, I'm talking about releasing the backlog episode.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that idea. It wouldn't work. It would be awful for our listens. I had one more thing. Right. The giveaway for the year of what's it fucking called?
Discord?
Yes. Yes. I completely forgot about it. I was stuck thinking on what to give away, and I finally figured it out. Pikmin 4. I'm giving away Pikmin 4. You're giving away a psalm and a prayer.
A psalm.
Or just do both.
Okay.
Psalm and a prayer.
Okay.
A psalm for the
Wild built.
and a prayer for the
Crown shy.
Crown
The
Shank.
crow.
I thought it was Crow.
A prayer for the crow.
We will be making the post later on this month. And
Man, I feel like I'm on crack right now.
letting people exactly know how to subscribe. Because I think I want to do that thing that I had told you about where it forces people to leave reviews on Apple Podcasts and all that stuff. Once we figure that out, we will put out the official rules on how to enter, and we'll go from there. Depending on how things go, we might throw in a little something extra like stickers and whatnot and go from there. So, ready for book talk?
Ready.
What time is it?
It's time for book talk, bitches. So, this Patreon winning book is Sisters of Sword and Song by Rebecca Ross. It published on June 25th, 2020 by HarperCollins or Epic Reads. I promise I'm not on anything. I have not had anything to drink other than water. I did babysit my boss's kid for the last hour and a half of the day. I think that fucked me up a bit.
that might have done it.
It's great because he planted him next to me and he's like, "You sit next to Miss Carradine. She loves kids." And I'm just looking at him like, "You fucking kidding me?"
I'm aboard him.
Oh my God. Okay, so just to give you a refresher, here is the synopsis of the book. After 8 long years, Evadne will finally be reunited with her older sister Halcyon, who has been proudly serving in the Queen's army. But when Halcyon appears earlier than expected, Ava knows something has gone terribly wrong. Halcyon is on the run, hunted by her commander, and charged with murder. Though Halcyon's life is spared during her trial, the punishment is heavy. And when Ava volunteers to serve part of Halcyon's sentence, she's determined to find out exactly what happened. But as Ava begins her sentence, she quickly learns that their fate's much worse than death. From the author of The Queen's Rising comes a thrilling YA standalone fantasy about the unbreakable bond between sisters. Perfect for fans of Ember in the Ashes, Sky in the Deep, and Court of Fives.
Is this a sequel or is this like a...
Standalone. It just said standalone. Standalone.
I wasn't paying attention. I was too focused on the question that I was going to ask you.
Is this a sequel?
Because it kind of sounds like some shit that you've talked about before.
Yeah, I guess. So I've only read, okay. So prior to this backlog book, I'd only read one Rebecca Ross book, and it was not at all what I expected. I loved it. Then I read Divine Rivals, which is Rebecca Ross, which I finished a little bit before I finished this one.
You talked about it on the show?
I think I mentioned it. I didn't like doing it in depth.
On a read in place?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was amazing. Also, not at all what I expected. Rebecca Ross is very good at, I think I mentioned this with the whole V.E. Schwab thing. She doesn't, stick in certain,
genres?
Not necessarily genres, just everything is wildly different, even if it is all fantasy. Very, very different.
So she doesn't stick to molds?
Yeah, I guess you could say.
She doesn't follow...
She has a style, but she doesn't put herself in a box.
So she doesn't follow standards and conventions and...
Right. So, you can read Sarah J. Maas's books.
Stereotypes.
And they all read
she doesn't follow stereotypes.
Yeah. Whereas Rebecca Ross's are all totally different. So this one has a very kind of Greek mythology vibe to it, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
There are gods and there's magic. So basically, Evadne is waiting for sister to come home. Evadne is the injured sister who is not as special as Halcyon, because Halcyon has these abilities and was able to fight in the army, and Evadne was attacked by a dog when she was little and has a bum leg and all this stuff, and she has not had her moment to shine. Halcyon comes home earlier than expected. She's running from her commander, basically. And it turns out that she was, I'm going to spoil the hell out of this book. Sorry, y'all. She was like partnered up with the commander's son, like, and they were going on some special mission together, and she accidentally killed him. They were sparring, and they were sparring blindfolded, and she accidentally sliced his throat.
Who blindfolded them?
They were alone. They chose to do this themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It wasn't like
Yes.
The fucking drill sergeant was like blindfold each other and fight, and then she felt guilty.
And she ran. Okay. They chased her down. She's sentenced, and like it said, Evadne bargains to serve like part of the sentence for her, because it was supposed to be like 5 years in a prison and then 5 years serving the commander's family since she killed their kid, and 5 years working in some sort of labor camp or something. I don't remember. Like 15 years total. So Evadne gets to go do the serving the commander's family part while Halcyon goes to the prison. And I don't know, like, I kind of expected with the way that the son Xander was killed that he wanted to be killed. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, he totally walked into her blade like he was just committing suicide. It's all going to come out that he was just over life, and that's how it happened. But it doesn't. It's not. That's not the case. Like, that's never really revisited at all, except in her having guilt for it happening. And she has this really weird relationship with the commander where he like forgives her, and he thought of her as his daughter the whole time. I'm like, this just isn't adding up to like where I saw this going, and I don't think I'm terribly happy with how this is going. Because like I like to be surprised, but I just didn't feel like that was, I don't know. It was very anticlimactic for me. And then so Evadne, she winds up befriending the younger son of the commander, who is a mage, and mages like lose their ability to write when they get their magic. So they have to have scribes to write down their spells. And he's like, you're not going to be my family servant anymore. You're going to be my scribe. So Evadne, instead of like serving that servant part of Halcyon's sentence, becomes this little brother's scribe. And they discover that Halcyon, that Halcyon and Xander, the one she killed, were like on this epic mission to find relics of the gods so that they could save the queen from this evil mage woman who's trying to take over the kingdom, who is also conveniently the sister of the commander and little mage boy's aunt.
This just seems so complicated.
Complicated, but not at the same time.
It feels like it has a lot of layers for the sake of having layers.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. So like they go on this little mission together, and it's cool because Evadne's finally getting her moment to shine and all this shit. And I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I feel like I should lower my rating. I ultimately gave it 4 stars because I didn't dislike it, but the more I think about it, the less satisfied I feel. Like, it was over and I was just like, I feel like nothing really happened. Like, it was all just a bunch of story.
It was like Death Stranding.
No climax. No real intense climax. I don't know. It's I don't know. No, I have no idea. And I don't know that I would say that it's all that much a story about the unbreakable bond of sisters. Like, yeah, they had a strong bond, and yeah, Evadne sacrificed for Halcyon, but like also at the end of the day, she didn't have to sacrifice that much. Neither one of them had to sacrifice that much because they both got out of their sentences pretty quickly. Halcyon, she bore the brunt of some bad stuff happening in that prison before she got out, but she ultimately got out before her sentence was up, way before her sentence was up. Evadne barely scrubbed some floors, and then she got to be the little scribe. I don't know. It's just, like I said, it was very anticlimactic. Very anticlimactic. I did like that it showed some very tender men. I love me some tender men, thanks to the Lord of the Rings.
Tenderman.
Yes, Tenderman.
Tenderman.
Yes, I love seeing some men who will show some emotion because they have a very sweet dad who shows lots of emotions. The commander eventually shows quite a bit of emotion. He's very kind of soft even from the beginning, I feel like.
Commander.
When he's supposed to be really terrifying when he comes to their house looking for Halcyon and they're trying to hide her. And I don't know, just never felt very...
Is this a YA?
It is. Yeah.
So like an early YA or
2020.
No, like for early
Like
ages.
super young?
Yeah.
No, not really.
No.
No.
What was the writer thinking? Because it sounds like nothing.
It kind of is nothing. It's not amazing. Oh God, I've made a mistake.
You regret your score?
I don't want to revoke it. I'd probably go down to 3, but I'll leave it as it is. It's just...
But does it have any sequels coming out?
No,
or?
it's a standalone.
That's it.
It's a standalone. That is it. That is it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody lives happily ever after. Only one person dies, really.
And it was the kid.
No, the commander dies in the end.
Oh.
And he does have a really beautiful line, but...
No. Sounds like a whole lot of nothing.
It kind of was.
Which
I think is one of the reasons why it took me so long to read it. I wasn't disliking it, but there wasn't anything pulling me back into it, you know? I think the only reason I finished it is because you fell asleep on me on the way fucking back from Orlando, and I listened to it all the way here because my phone was almost dead, and I knew that Audible wouldn't drain the rest of the battery terribly quickly.
Right.
So...
You were saying that you like soft men that are emotional men. Tender men.
Yes.
Tender men. So how did you feel seeing me and my friends being tenderments with each other?
It's not the same kind of tender.
No.
No. I'm looking for like Aragorn crying over Boromir's dying body and kissing him on the forehead and all that jazz.
If Kiko died, I would kiss him on the forehead.
Oh boy. That's nice.
I'm sure that if I died, he would do the same thing.
I'm sure. Think of Aragorn telling Frodo that he would have gone with him to the end. Into the very fires of Mordor.
I did
when
go
he cries when he says, "For Frodo!"
I did go into the fires of Mordor. I took down that Yume bowl of ramen.
That's going into the fires of Mordor?
I guess. He made it sound like it was an unsurmountable challenge. And
a lot of people mounted it, though.
Surmounted it?
Insurmountable.
Insurmountable?
Yes. And you mountabled it.
It was so
boy.
Good. I feel like the patrons
did me dirty. No.
I feel like they chose us stuff that we would need to force ourselves to finish. Because I kind of felt the same way with Shantae Risky's Revenge. Which is not the game that won. This is the bonus game.
Right.
The game that won is coming probably the first or second week.
Hold up. You only finished the bonus game?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because it's before the one. So I had to finish the one before.
I see. Chronological order.
Right. Before we get into it,
I was about to say, don't we have a transition we need to do before
right,
you?
Right, and we're only at 19 minutes.
Hey, this was going to be a short episode.
I know it's going to be a short episode, but I thought it was at least hit 50 minutes.
Oh.
Because I really don't have a lot to say about Shantae.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
You don't have anything else to say about this book? Do you recommend it? Do you not? 4 stars? Any additional comments? Any thoughts?
I mean, I guess if you're bored, maybe.
Like your mom hammering away right now?
Yeah, I will say, oh my God, I've been so slow and I've struggled with reading. But I'm still reading Astrid. I'm almost done.
Astrid Parker.
Astrid Parker is a better book.
Do you want to review it when I review the other game?
Sure, I should be finished with it by
review
the end of the week.
Specifically for
when
Dave.
Are you gonna finish? Yeah, I'll review it
specifically for Dave.
I was sitting on the couch reading some really hot lesbian sex scenes last night. It was pretty great.
Your mom would be
like,
so upset.
This is why people are lesbians, because lesbians know what to do.
Oh my God!
With specific nerve-filled places.
Mm-hmm. Not just pull out a chainsaw.
I can't.
So 4 stars. You're keeping it?
I'm going to say 3 stars for the podcast, but I'm going to keep 4 stars for the rest of the world because I don't have the energy to go back and change it. Yes.
All right. That's fair. Let's go into some games and stuff. All right, for this week's game, we have Shantae, Risky's Revenge. It is a platform video game developed by WayForward Technologies for the Nintendo DSi. This game is old as shit.
What is a Nintendo DSi?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
The second installment in the Shantae series, Risky's Revenge, is the sequel to the 2002 Game Boy Color video game Shantae and follows series protagonist Shantae as she sets out to stop the ambitions of the nefarious pirate Risky Boots. Risky Boots.
Risky Boots?
Risky Boots.
Okay.
That's her name, Risky Boots. So this game was developed and published by WayForward. I love WayForward. They do amazing work. It was released on the DSi, iOS, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Wii U, Switch, Xbox One, Stadia, and PS5. It was released in October 4th, 2010 for the DSi. So, you asked me what the DSi is.
Yes.
You know the Nintendo DS.
Yes.
The DSi was the Nintendo DS that had the camera and online functions.
Oh, that one. My sister had one.
That didn't have the Game Boy slot. It was just the with the cartridge. And,
yes.
Yeah. So that one. So this is a very, very short game. It's like a 5-hour game. And they have done a bunch of updates and added a bunch of stuff and ported it to recent consoles and shit. But being the caveman that I am, I decided to play the DSi version on my 3DS because I had bought it on the 3DS eShop long before it closed. And I had started it and I liked it. And then I played it and I liked it less.
Oh boy.
So you remember back in episode 3, 3 years ago, I fell in love with Shantae.
Yes.
With the first game.
Yes.
It was
your
beautiful.
Girlfriend.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Look at Shantae up there being all belly dancy next to Spyro.
Yes.
Right? This game, I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays, the way it moves. I fucking hate the map system.
Oh, boy.
One, because it doesn't have a map to start with. And when you do find a map and you buy the map, it just tells you how, not even how to get, but like it gives you like an outline more or less of the entire world map. And it doesn't tell you specifically where you are on what part. So let's say that you go out of Scuttletown into the forest, and it'll tell you you're in the forest, but you're like all the way at the end of the forest trying to find a specific path, and it will tell you that you are just in the forest. That's it. When you go into dungeons, there's no map at all. So you have to mentally remember the layout of the entire dungeon in order to complete it. And there are like some bonuses that you can find, like secret collectibles and shit inside the dungeons that are missable, and you don't need to finish the game. But if you don't look for them, or you don't, have a good map idea of where you're going, you're going to miss them. And then have to do it all over again. Because it happened to me in the last dungeon. I missed one thing, and I had to go back into the dungeon after I beat the boss. Go all the way to the end to go into the room that I didn't go into to collect that one thing. And then walk all the way back out the dungeon. It took me forever to finish this fucking game. It was 5 hours long. You know how long 5 hours is?
It's a ride to Orlando.
It's sitting down on the couch for the afternoon.
Yeah. It's nothing.
It's nothing.
And it took you forever.
It took me like 3 weeks to finish it.
Damn.
Like when we went to Boston, right? I was like, we got 4 hours on the plane. What's it, 4 hours, 3 hours?
No, it was like 2.5.
2.5 hours. We got time at the airport where we're sitting down. I'm going to force myself to sit down, play this game, beat it.
You didn't do it.
What did I do? I played Time Crisis on the Steam Deck. I didn't want to play it. Like, it wasn't pulling me. And as much as I love Shantae, I really, really couldn't get into it. And it was because of the map thing, because I felt like I was getting lost when I shouldn't have, because a map is not hard to do. I could have done one manually, but I shouldn't have to do that while I'm playing a video game, because, you have two screens. Have one of the screens be your fucking map. Right. I don't know if they added a map or better functions or whatever for the PS4 and Xbox One and Switch versions of it, which I have. I even have a physical version of it for Switch for the Director's Cut edition of it that I could have played and I didn't. So I don't know if those versions are better or not. Hopefully they are, because, new consoles, you would expect that they'd fix this, 13-year-old game? But...
Damn, 13.
13.
I graduated from high school 13 years ago.
You graduated from high school as Shantae was setting out on her second adventure.
Oh my god. I'm so old.
So, let me talk about the things that I like. I love the way the game looks. The game looks incredible. Let me look up Shantae's Risky's Revenge gameplay. Don't actually watch the gameplay. Just look at the pictures when you find them on Google, so you can see how beautiful and colorful this game looks. Like, the character models are so detailed. They are so fluidly animated. They look amazing. Like, that is, if not one, my favorite part of the entire game, because it just looks so good. And you know how Shantae attacks with her hair, she looks like she does the whole Willow Smith, I whip my hair back and forth thing to attack the enemies.
Looks like she's whipping her hair right there.
She's dancing right there.
Oh.
She's doing her little belly dancer moves. And that looks great. And you have like other abilities like fireballs or like a cannonball that you can shoot out or like spinning. Right. And like when you're running like that, right? Karen's showing me a picture of her running through Scuttletown. Her hair just like flows in the wind. It doesn't stay static or has like a shitty short animation. No, it actually has like a complete flow animation, all in pixel art. So you have different attacks, so not just the hair, and some enemies are kind of sponges. They will suck up a lot of damage. So having these extra abilities like the fireball and the cannonballs that circle you help a lot during fights, especially boss fights. And I will say that I did cheese most of the boss fights. I would turn on the spiky balls that float around you and just stand still or get close to them and whip them at the same time with my hair. And I would beat them really easy. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip it real hard. So, so the gameplay's fun. Like, the platforming's very solid. I feel like this game carries over what made the original Shantae so much fun into a new console, a more powerful console, and it works. The only thing is the fucking map and the game. There's a character that tells you where you need to go, but sometimes when you go there, that's not really what you had to do. You had to do something else. So there was a bunch of times where I would have to look up a guide online to be like, oh, this is what I have to do, because I didn't know what the fuck to do. Because what the characters are telling me in the game is wrong. I loved the transformations. You have 3 transformations in this game. You have little Bonkichi, the little monkey transformation. You have the elephant transformation, and you have the mermaid transformation. The little monkey transformation is amazing. I love that one so much. I showed it to you, where she's little and she's like going like this from side to side,
yeah.
little monkey.
Cute.
That one I love for platforming, because sometimes there are like these platforming challenges where the platforms are very small and you have to move really fast, and the monkey moves fast as fuck, and he has this ability where you latch onto a wall and you can like projectile yourself off of it. And I really like that ability, especially for the platforming challenges. The elephant is great because it's heavy, it's slow, but it's also powerful. So if you had a bunch of enemies in front of you, you could just ram straight through them. And then you have the mermaid, which was only for underwater. You would swim as the mermaid and shoot projectiles and stuff and destroy enemies. And, you know, it's fun. Like I said, my biggest problem with the game is the map. I felt like it didn't work at all for the map. Let me see what I wrote here on my notes for the game. Shantae, I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's a fun-ish game. What I mean by
Fun-ish.
that, fun-ish game. What I mean by that is that the gameplay, platforming, and combat are fun, but the map really leaves a lot to be desired. It only shows a somewhat overall view of the overworld. The dungeons are sizable, so they're big dungeons. They're not just a couple of rooms. No, they're all pretty big. But they desperately need a map to make sure. What has been seen and whatnot. I wrote that like a dumbass. They desperately need a map so that we can see what has been seen and whatnot. Because usually maps will mark off your progress as you go. A better working map would have raised this game's score by a point or so. That's how much it hurt.
The map comes into play.
Having a map, yeah. And like you can gain abilities, you can increase your health and your powers, and you can buy new upgrades and stuff. And like the cast of characters is great as always. They're funny characters like Shantae's uncle finds a lamp. Risky Boots wants to steal it because she wants the power of the genies. But it ends up that 3 barons collected the seals to unlock the lamp. So you get the seals. And it turns out that Risky wanted to steal your powers because you're a half genie.
Shame on you, Risky.
So she could have like the ultimate being. And, she steals your powers and you have to fight evil Shantae. And you beat her and you lose her genie powers.
Oh, no.
But somehow Shantae can still control her hair. So I can't wait to see what happens in the next game, because apparently the next game is like the second to best. If it has a map, it beats this one by a fucking mile. So yeah, it really, really was a struggle to get back to it.
You need that map.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where the fuck to go.
Right, because I was like, I really don't want to play fucking Shantae. Shit, I think I finished like 4 games before I finished Shantae.
That's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it took me a while to buckle down and.
So what you're telling me is we both struggled.
Yeah, we both really struggled, because I really was excited about this game, because after I finished the first one, I dove straight into it and I liked what I played, but actually playing the whole thing, I hope the next one is better.
I hope so too.
Yeah. So, Shantae, Risky's Revenge, 7 out of 10 for me. Yeah. So, we are at 34 minutes.
Look at that. We're only 15 minutes shy of where you wanted to be.
Is there anything you want to talk about, say, to kill some time?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
Really?
Are you excited about Etovania month?
I am.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to read than a full-fledged novel.
Tell me about the books you're getting.
The books I'm getting? Oh, yeah, tomorrow we're going to go to Barnes & Noble.
Tuesday.
Because there are a lot of books coming out that I want, but we're only going to get 2 for right now. One of them is Lore Olympus Volume 5. I'm so pumped. And Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. It's like an additional story to her Kingdom of the Wicked series. So I'm pretty pumped for that. And I'm getting Barnes & Noble exclusive editions of both of them because they are so fucking beautiful. And if I'm as extra as I have been so far with Lore Olympus, I will eventually get the non-exclusive edition too. Because
what's you've never talked about Lore Olympus on the show, have you?
have I not?
I don't
Really?
think so.
So Lore Olympus was a webtoon. It started as a webtoon. It's Greek mythology retellings. Do you remember all the people we saw at DragonCon that I pointed out to you? There was a whole group of them at the night at Bree. They were in like fancy white outfits and they had their skin painted different colors. Like one of them was purple with a purple wig. One of them was blue.
Or a bunch of tall girls.
One of them was hot pink.
There
were like 2 guys. There were lots of Lore Olympus cosplays.
Because I remember...
Any people painted colors of the rainbow.
I just figured they're Steven Universe.
They were probably Lore Olympus. There were a lot of Lore Olympus
because there was when we were at the night in Bree and we were about to leave, there was a group of very tall girls, all in like white stuff with colors painted on their faces.
Yeah, they were all Lore Olympus people.
Okay.
Yeah. They were with at least one guy who was Zeus. Zeus is purple. Hades is blue. Persephone is pink.
Who's red?
Who is red? Minthy, or however you pronounce her name. I don't know.
Minty?
I'm not up to speed on my Greek mythology the way I should be, so I'm probably butchering her name. Minty. Minty Fresh. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the colors of other people.
Like, do you want to read the whole thing all over again and give a class on it? No.
I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
But
anyway, it was a webtoon. So, like, people like Carmen have already read the whole thing, and now they're coming out with these physical copies of the books.
Of the webtoons?
So, yeah, of the webtoon in book form. So, you have people like Carmen who are just buying them because they've read Lore Olympus online and loved it. And then you have people like me who didn't know that it existed it started popping up all over Bookstagram when the books started publishing. And there was just one day, I think it may have been that first year that we managed to hit the hardcover sale the day after Christmas. And was like, why the hell not? Picked up that first one. I've been hooked. I think that's the only reason I am currently enjoying a Hades and Persephone story that I'm reading, because it's very poorly written, but it's giving me the sex that I'm not getting in Lore Olympus. So I'm just like picturing them as my Lore Olympus Hades and Persephone, and it's giving me life.
Okay.
Even though it's not so great.
That's interesting.
It's called A Touch of Darkness, if anybody is curious.
Okay. This week, Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out. So, you know that I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yes.
And I loved it.
Isn't that the one I waited in line for Thanksgiving?
No, that was Origins. I hated that one.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That one fucking sucked.
And then I went to have dinner with your poor family, who I did not realize
All of
was
them were
in
the
crisis.
hospital.
Literally everyone was at the hospital except your 2 aunts, I think. No, one of them was at the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was a mess.
So I loved Odyssey. I played Valhalla, and it was a fucking mess, and I didn't enjoy my time with it as much as I wanted to. But I bought it full price, and I regret doing that. I bought it from Cybertron, so I don't regret that part, because Cybertron needs money. They deserve money. But the new Assassin's Creed comes out this week, and they're going back to the roots of the original Assassin's Creed games. So no more RPG elements, no more 200-hour story campaign that goes nowhere because it is an inane mess of random stories that don't have to do anything with each other. It's back to its roots. So I am cautiously optimistic about it because I loved the original Assassin's Creed games. You know, they were open world stealth games where you had to be quiet to stab people in the throat with your hidden blade that was in your wrist. It's going back to that, and I hope that it's good because I have seen some screenshots online of some equipment management stuff, and I don't like the way that it looks because it looks a lot like the new Assassin's Creed games, and I am sick of that shit. I don't need 200-hour open world games to be released every year because I don't have fucking time to play them. And if I cannot finish this game by October 20th, it's October, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why we're doing horror month. Still a
Right,
goof.
right. If by October 20th this game has not been finished, it is getting pulled from the PlayStation and is being thrown in the shelf because Spider-Man 2 is more important than this game. So I hope that it took its shit, got it all together, right? Like put it all together into a little pile, grabbed the shit, put it in a bag, sipped it up, and took it to the shit store.
Isn't Michael Fassbender in the Assassin's Creed movie?
Yes. That
Was
movie,
it any good?
I thought it was pretty good.
Really?
A lot of people hate it, but I thought it was okay. For what it is. Fucking live action Assassin's Creed. It could have been way worse. So put all its shit together and take it to the shit store and get rid of it. Right? That's what I want Assassin's Creed to do. I don't need 200 hours. Just give me 10 or 15. I'm happy with that. Okay? That's all I want. All I want out of my open world games. I don't need a lot. Spider-Man, the biggest PlayStation release of the year, is only 20 hours long. So Assassin's Creed doesn't need to be more than that. So
That's fair.
So yeah, we hit 41 minutes.
Look at us. We're closer to eating up that hour. We're getting our money's worth.
I'm happy with this.
I am too.
So do you want to call it?
Goodbye, everyone. What?
No, that's not how it goes.
Well, how does it go?
Kaden, is there anything else you want to say today before we end the show?
No.
Why are you being so hostile?
I don't know. I want to go read my book.
I know. I want to go play my video games. Anything else you want to say?
No. No. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
You want to say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.